what is up guys, welcome back to another deck profile. Today we're going to be doing here a deck profile for my metal deck, I guess. This is a Duraludon V deck being the main focus. It's definitely very nice because firstly it takes 30 less damage from your attacks, and I think that this is definitely just really nice for the actual card itself because technically it makes it a 250 HP Pokemon, which makes it quite difficult for people to actually deal with. But it also has Gatling Slug, which is 3 energy cost, which is not bad because either way this is a metal Pokemon, so when you attach it on it's really easy with the metal sources anyway. And this attack essentially does 40 more damage for each of your metal energy attached to it, so 10 plus the 40 for each. That's pretty decent, you know. It's really nice, and you could just keep piling on more energy onto the Duraludon, making things work. Of course, it is not the most amazing of cards, but I think it's definitely something that is well worth trying just because it's a bit fun and it's unique from the typical metal deck out there. Though, with that being said, the metal engine itself is just so powerful if you're just deciding not to play certain cards in the deck. So do forgive me for playing some of the most broken cards out there, but while the rotation is not here yet, I do want to maximize the potential of metal as much as I possibly can, but also keep things unique and fun. So without further ado, let's just get started. So to begin here, we're obviously playing here the 2 Duraludon Vs. I already mentioned that I would be playing it anyway, and next I'm going to be playing here 2 copies of Zacian V. If you're playing any kind of metal deck, it should have at least 2 Zacian Vs. If you want to build a Zacian deck, you could add 2 more and make it a main focal deck out of it, so that would be nice. But with that being said, it is clear and obvious that Zacian V is a far superior card than something like Duraludon. In fact, Duraludon is not that amazing when you compare it with the Zacian V, but adding a bit of uniqueness to it and a bit of variety, it definitely makes it all the more worth playing. However, with that being said, if you're playing a Zacian deck, if you're playing a deck that could just go for a bunch of metal energy, might as well just play ADP as well. I mean, it requires a steel energy or metal energy, plus an additional water energy. It just makes it so easy to pull off with this particular card, so I'm just going to splash in 1 copy of it because I believe it'll work out. Now with that being said, Duraludon dealing its damage alone is not going to be enough to deal a lot of damage, so we're definitely going to have to play here the Galarian Berserker. We're playing the Galarian Meowth, which searches out Berserker of course, but Berserker allows you to deal 20 more damage at least with your metal Pokemon, which is definitely phenomenal. And to continue off with the metal Pokemon, we're also going to be playing here 2 copies of Jirachi. That's all we really need. We don't really need any more in the deck itself. It definitely just does the job for us, and it's very amazing to cycle out the cards we actually need. That goes without saying that this deck will also be playing here the Ariados engine. Definitely just a really nice engine. It's starting to grow on me, and it's something that I'm thinking is quite splashable in many decks. It's just really good, and you only need 2 copies of it. It's just a really nice card to incorporate into many of your decks. Now for a bit of supporting Pokemon, we're playing here a Zigzagoon, we're playing here a Mewtwo, we're playing here Oranguru, and of course we're also going to be playing here the Crobat V into Dedenne GX. Both are really amazing as well. All of these, you guys know what they do. They're really good cards, they're really crucial almost, and pretty much at this point I shouldn't have to explain them. But moving on to some item cards, we're going to be playing here the 4 copies of Quick Ball. Very amazing to search out your Pokemon. With that being said, you want to get the right Pokemon, so communications definitely work out really amazingly as well. So all the more reason to actually play it. We're also just going to be playing here a Tool Scrapper. I just felt it was a really nice card because you encounter cards like Big Charms, Air Balloons, a lot of different cards that are just really pesky, and as a result the Tool Scrapper definitely just works out really well for this particular format itself. But with that being said, we're also going to be playing here the Tag Call, followed by Mellow and Lana. Guzman Hala, and also the Viridian Forest. So tag call basically just adds any tag team card, so you're going to add either these two cards or you can add ADP as well. And the Guzman Hala just pretty much essentially allows you to add a Viridian City and also a special energy as well. Very nice, definitely quite amazing, and of course it adds your tool as well. And with that being said, it's just really nice. Definitely just really like what these particular cards do. It makes a really nice engine for the deck itself. Now of course, to do a bit of energy manipulation, we're obviously going to be playing here 4 copies of Metal Saucer, but I'm also going to be playing here 2 copies of the Energy Switch, allowing you to move different energies whenever we actually want to. You could attach all of your energy onto your Zacian V through Intrepid Sword, and then with that being said, you just simply use Energy Switch to take it and put it onto the Duraludon to stack up Duraludon's attack. Of course, with that being said, it does obviously make Zacian V well, it makes the engine kind of pointless almost, because the Zacian V is obviously a lot better, but to put it onto your Duraludon, the difference is your Duraludon's attack can work every single turn, whereas your Zacian V's Brave Blade is not necessarily the best attack. You have to keep switching it back to the bench again. So because of that, focusing on Duraludon is definitely far better in this situation or circumstance. We're also going to be playing here 1 Great Catcher, just allowing for, again, more manipulation. You're already playing cards like the Ariados engine, so you may as well just build up on that and play Great Catcher as well. It just really works out. And of course, I wanted to play the Great Catcher and the Tag Team engine, just as long as it's not rotation yet, because after rotation, those cards will be rotated out, so I want to actually play them as much as possible right now. For a bit of board manipulation, again, Scoop Up Nets and also the switches definitely just work out really well for this particular deck. There's really not much else to say about it. We're going to be playing here 2 copies of Boss's Orders. Didn't want to play too many supporters because I want the deck to be as fast as possible, but we're also playing here the Professor's Research at 4. Want to maximize the consistency of this particular deck by playing 4 copies, and enough said. Moving on to energy, of course, we want a bit of flexibility, so the Aurora energy is definitely very nice. You could just use Guzman Hala to search out this particular card anyway, so no big deal. We're also playing over here 2 copies of the Coding energy. Really nice because there's a lot of fire Pokemon out there still, and until rotation actually hits, a lot of metal decks are definitely still vulnerable to fire decks. I still see Center Scorch decks out there, so don't underestimate the formats. I still see Leon Zard out there, so don't underestimate the format. Coding energy will protect you because it removes weakness, which is definitely fantastic because you're playing a steel deck which is just weak to so many fire decks. But of course, to complete things off, we're just going to be playing here 6 copies of basic steel energy, and we're also going to be playing here 2 copies of water energy, just in case one of them gets benched. So I'm playing 2 copies of it, but it is definitely going to be used for the ADP. So with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed this particular profile. It was definitely something that was very unique, very different for the deck itself, focusing more so on Duraludon and not so much on Zacian V, because Zacian V, like I said, you have to wait a turn after using its attack. Otherwise, you have to use switch tactics to get it back into the bench and then back onto the field to do an attack, and it just felt really tedious and annoying, so I'd rather just focus on the Duraludon, allowing you to consistently attack every single turn without actually having to have your switch cards to do the work for you. But with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed this particular deck profile. I find this deck to be incredibly fun and somewhat competitive as well. I mean, it's pretty decent out there. It does a pretty good job. However, with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this particular deck profile or this particular video, then drop a like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification. It really helps. I hope you all have a fantastic day. I'll see you all next time.